Berlin is moody, guys.
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So we're from Josh at the Movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Allison.
Josh and Allison.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you as well.
So first of all, I just wanted to congratulate you guys on your debut at the film festival. Can you each tell us one thing about this movie that you're most excited to share with an audience for the first time?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
No, you please.
Okay, well, first off, thanks for having us and for being a part of our whole premiere, I guess, here. I think the things that it's probably two things that I'm most excited about for me for Stay Awake. One is, the stories, a lot of it's based on my time kind of growing up with my mom and my brother. And I think when I was growing up, a lot of the movies I would see about addiction were always sort of from the addict's point of view. So I'm really excited to that we were able to make a movie that sort of showed a different point of view, which is the caretakers, the sort of roller coaster ride that the loved ones of addicts go through with trying to care for someone with the disease. I think that's something I'm really excited about. And then on the flip side, I think a lot of the times when I would see films about addiction, the addict is always sort of villainized, and that was something that I think, for me, I could relate to when I was younger. But as I got older, I started to realize that obviously this subject is a lot more complicated. And I think I missed a lot of time with my mom. I resented my mom for a while, and so I'm happy that this film sort of humanizes the addict. I think Chrissy did an incredible job with humanizing addiction. And, I wish I had that growing up, because I think it would have helped me understand the complications with my mom better. And hopefully it might do that with some people who are kind of going through the same thing.
Awesome. So you mentioned this was from your own experience, but I know there was also a short film as well in 2015. Was it important for you to expand the story or to make this entirely different beast? And what was that process like? Yeah,
initially I wasn't sure if I wanted to make anything else on this subject. I thought I'd kind of done what I needed, but that short film was really inspiring actually to me, because when I'd go to festivals with it, I sort of became the festival therapist. Everybody would come up to me and start talking about their mom, their dad, their uncle, their aunt, their brother, their sister who had an addiction issue. The subject is so taboo that I think once someone had even the door crack open, as an opportunity to talk with someone about the subject, the floodgates opened, and then they would. So, I think that was a big reason why I went ahead and with a feature. I felt like maybe there was, some sort of good it could do in that regard. And I think that's really what I wanted. The story, a lot of this, I get to explore the subject a lot more too. Obviously, you get 90 some minutes instead of 13. So there's a lot more there with codependency, with, again, humanizing addiction and with the point of view. So there's a lot, fortunately, there's a much bigger canvas that you can sort of explore.
Yeah, like you were saying, I think that it makes it really unique that it's a viewpoint not from specifically the addict, but the family, how they're experiencing it. What kind of research was done to prepare for the roles and the heaviness of the subject matter? Chrissy, did you speak with any recovered addicts or anything like that?
Well, interestingly enough, I have to just say the most exciting thing for me is to see Jamie come to fruition and then be at Berlin, showing this incredible piece of art that is so near and dear to so many of our hearts that oh my gosh, you did it. You know what I mean? I don't think people understand what it takes to make a film. I don't even think I understood, especially in the way that he was, so committed to making it. So I just have to say that. But as far as research goes, it's interesting. I obviously have food issues, and so I know what addiction is in a really real way. And I definitely have had addiction throughout my family. I have friends who have been, in and out of their addictions. And it's really interesting because it's not right. It's not ever it's the disease, it's not the person. And so you really don't recognize the person, and you're like, wait. And when you're a child, especially, you're like, oh, my parent doesn't love me. It's never, about the child, but it seems like it is. And that for me was always really hard. And then with somebody who deals with food issues, I got to see it in a different perspective of like, oh, what am I doing to my mom? Or like, how am I making her worried? Or how am I creating sort of this doubt and fear, as Michelle put into, of course, the boys. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a whole other animal for me, but that's what art does, right? Like I think when you educate people, the fear goes away, and then you can talk about it, and then you get through it. And so it was really a catharsis for me to be in this role. And I mean, I watched a lot of intervention. I know that sounds crazy. I actually, I just sympathize so deeply with the addict, so yeah.
I mean, I will say I do see from that viewpoint as well, because I mean, I've dealt with eating disorders myself, and I had gone to, I know Overeaters Anonymous is very similar. I believe it's Narcotics Anonymous. So just seeing the tie between those two, like, really made me relate to the character as well. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Yeah. And I just wanted to ask also, how long was filming on this? Where did it take place? And what was your favorite filming location? Just to bring it a little bit.
Me, or shall Wyatt, shall you take it away? Go for it.
I'm gonna take the reins on this one. We shot over 21 days. We were there for about a month and a half and shot 5 days a week, 2 days off. And we shot in this little town of Saugerties in upstate New York, which apparently is becoming a very popular filming spot.
Okay.
Filming there, so I guess we were there first or whatever. But it's this little quaint town. Everyone was super lovely there. Everyone was very nice. They have a lot of ice cream there, from what I remember going through like downtown Saugerties. And our favorite place. Well, we shot in a lot of interesting places. I think visually, I love the ice cream shop because there's a lot. I mean, Jamie has described a lot, just the Americana look of the film with all the bright lights and such. And I feel like that captures it in a bottle, basically. It's just like everything you need to know about that kind of visual style is right there at that location. But yeah, I mean, that one was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, as a lot, but it was fun.
It's hard to choose. I mean, I didn't obviously go to the salt mines, but those were so, I don't know, so beautiful. And I think those were my favorite as far as location goes. And I wasn't even in the scene. So, actually, what is that place where like all the smashed cars are? What are they called?
Oh, the junkyard.
The junkyard.
Yeah.
The junkyard was so cool too. I mean, and what people don't know behind the scenes is like, the muddy filled junkyard, and like people like literally like under umbrellas and tents and trying to just make this 15-second scene possible, and everything that has to even happen to make it happen is mind-boggling. I think people just don't understand it, and I always have to just talk about it, y'all. I have to talk about it. So
I think also one more place that I loved, I mean on any of the shoots I've done, a bowling alley is always fun.
I was waiting for that.
You get action bowling.
yeah, that bowling alley was like the OG.
Oh yeah, we were there a lot.
It was really cool.
It was kind of like a home base.
You kind of gravitate towards bowling alleys.
Which I'm really cool with, because like who wouldn't gravitate towards that? But yeah.
So this is a question for Wyatt. A big part of Ethan's journey through this film is coming of age and into his own person. I noticed more than a few hints about Ethan possibly having a crush on a male classmate. Do you think as Ethan goes away to college, he will be exploring his sexuality more?
Well, if we do Stay Awake too, we can have some.
We'll find out.
That's what's so beautiful about the writing in this film is that that's kind of just like a part of his character, and that's something a lot of, representation needs to be, is like just a part of that character. Not like it doesn't need to be the main focus of it. It doesn't need to be whatever a big thing. It's just a part of who he is. And I think that that's a great interpretation of where his character could go if we kept following him. And I think since he's so preoccupied, with everything else going on in his life, that's something that maybe when he goes to college, he gets to really focus on and gets to think about and talk about. And I think one person he'll definitely talk to a lot about it is probably his brother, because I feel like obviously with all they've gone through together, I think that his brother would be good to confide in. And you have that scene, there's a scene that Chrissy and I share, and she is talking about, or I'm asking about relationship advice, and she's like, you'll be with whoever you need to be, whoever that may end up being. And like, we talked about this when we watched the movie together, but like, I love that line because that's such a mom thing to do. That is such like a mom thing to just know. And like, I don't even think, like, I don't know when she would have found out and how she would, but like, it's just like, I don't know. I think it was, that's really well done for Ethan's journey. And I like that question. Yeah.
So this one's for Chrissy in the same sort of respect. So Michelle is the most complex character in Stay Awake, in my opinion. It would have been really easy, obviously, as you said, to make her really one-dimensional and have the audience hate her. But Chrissy, I do think your charm really bleeds into her as a character. At one point, she even worries about how the boys will eat dinner, and obviously the whole conversation that you just mentioned. Was it important to you as an actress to approach this character from the standpoint as a loving mother?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's really what she is. You know, we are not our addictions. We are not, the diseases that plague us, but we are, love, and especially the way that she loves her sons. And I think she's always trying to love them more because she's always trying to overcompensate for her own, her own journey and her own demons that she's been carrying around. And so, yeah, I mean, that for me was the most important thing because I mean, her entire life is her boys. And really it's between, her addiction and the love that she has for them. And she really tries hard. And that's what's so beautiful about the writing is she's not vilified and she's really just a mom. She's really trying hard in that one scene that she's like, wait, but I'm not crazy. Like, I'm like, what do you, and she really, I think that was a turning point for her to realize that like, oh, I'm really there. She knew that she was affecting her boys in a very real, deep way, but I think that was a massive turning point for her. But as addicts go, and it's hard, it's literally one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. So, yeah, it was very important for me to play the love first because I think that's what continues to motivate her in every way.
I will say this is probably one of my favorite stories about this type of topic just because of that. Like, you very rarely loved that character, and I just couldn't find it. Was just so heartbreaking just to watch it happen again and again when she was such a likable character. Well, this one is for Jamie. How did you choose the songs that the boys sing to Michelle in the car, and do they have any meaning or personal significance to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that was, there's a couple instances in my childhood that I remember doing things like that to literally try to keep my mom engaged. And we would play different games sometimes. And yeah, those songs have meaning. The first two especially. The first two in the very first scene are ones that are sort of greatest hits from my childhood.
So not to dive too deep into spoiler territory, but the latter half of the film really conveys the sense of hopelessness and horror that families of addicts sometimes have to endure. Wyatt, your emotional breakdown in the elevator in particular really hit me hard. Do you think Ethan and Derek ever wished for their mother to just be gone or to sort of end her suffering, as dark as that sounds?
You know what? That is something Jamie and I absolutely talked about. One of the first days we really were rehearsing and talking about the film and the characters and stuff is like, I asked him about when he visits the morgue. And I said, is there any part of Ethan that kind of maybe hopes that it's her? And like, that's such like a morbid question, but like that would end that cycle that they have to keep living through over and over again. And like, is there any part of Ethan that kind of wishes that, which obviously that's nothing, never what you want to actually have happen, but like, it's very complicated in that sense. But like, I would say Derek less so. I think Derek is much too attached to maybe some of the old memories that he holds on to like let her go. And that's obviously his main conflict in the movie. But for Ethan, yeah, I think, yeah.
Well, Derek seems to be almost living in a hopeful fantasy land, while Ethan has sort of reached the end of his patience with himself. Why do you think Ethan is so much more mature than Derek, given the age difference, since he's the younger one?
Do you want to answer this or?
You can answer it.
Oh, okay. I interpreted it as kind of like I said in the previous answer, Derek has been around a little bit longer than Ethan with his mom. And I think he remembers a lot more of the fond memories with her. And he's
Okay.
much more, it's a lot easier for him to go back in time and be like, yeah, I remember doing this. And they have that story when he's like talking about the story where I cry all the time and whatever. And like, I don't remember that. That's just like, whatever. So I've just grown up with her and in my life being this way in this cycle. And like, I think it would be a lot more easy for my character to just let go of her than Derek. And I think like, Ethan just wants the best for Derek. And so does Michelle, of course. But I think in that sense, I don't know if mature is the right word. I think they just kind of have different outlooks on how to deal with it. And Ethan's is a little bit more harsh, but for their situation, I think it's what he thinks that they need most, really.
I'm very proud of the film. And it's because they're such thoughtful actors who really took these characters over and
Yeah.
did such an amazing job.
It really is one of my favorite films that I've seen recently. It's fantastic. So
Yeah, she watched it twice already. I loved it though.
Thanks for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's such a beautiful but heartbreakingly poignant, timely, beautiful watch. Like, I mean, my heart just breaks. Like, I was sobbing, when you get to see these boys raise themselves. It's like, it's really, I can't talk about it too much, but
Well, speaking of the brotherly bond, that's pretty much like the crux of the story in a way, because as you said, they kind of have to raise themselves. Wyatt, did you have a similar like older brother, younger brother vibe with Finn on set?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely took the mantle of younger brother. I liked poking Finn a lot, like way, just
untying his shoes.
yeah, just very annoying in that sense, but it's obviously all out of love. I feel like I've formed such a very brotherly bond with him, and I think that definitely shows in the film as well. Just how we operate together.
So again, without spoiling anything, the conclusion is heartbreaking, but also carries a hopefulness to it. Why do you think it's so important to carry that note of positivity now in our pandemic times more than ever?
I don't know about the pandemic part. I can speak to the addiction part with positivity. I think it takes a lot of patience as a caretaker of a loved one who is going through addiction. And there's a lot of cyclicality, there's a lot of codependency, there's a lot of ups and downs where sometimes things are going great and sometimes they're not. And I do think one of the things that has served my brother and I pretty well is just trying to overall remain hopeful on the subject and knowing that everyone's giving their best and doing the best they can. My mom's best or like one of the things she says the most is I'm doing the best I can. And I really always believe that. And I think you really can't ask more from people than that. And I think people respond to encouragement. You what's the old saying? You catch flies with honey. And I think that there's a positivity that I think people respond to. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I think that's just very, really important when you're trying to help care, a loved one along with addiction.
So we love to ask this question to everyone that we interview, but do you guys have any upcoming or recent projects that you would like to plug to help get them on everyone's radar?
What am I doing?
He's being very coy is what he's doing.
I'm about to go shoot an Apple TV Plus show in New York called City on Fire. which is very exciting. I'm very excited to go and do that. And then I just shot something in Chicago 2 months ago or 3 months ago. Another independent, also the director's story, but hers is about bipolar and how it affects her and her family and such. So that one's called The Year Between.
Yeah, my brother's bipolar, so I'll be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that.
I mean, it's a comedy because that's just how she directed, wrote, and acted in it. But it's great.
Awesome.
She's
Comedy stems from tragedy, so you gotta laugh unless you're gonna cry. Well, obviously, we're wrapping up the sixth and final season of This Is Us. Oh, and here's my dog Mabel. And I am working on finishing my debut country album, which I'm very excited about. So hopefully I'll have a little tour scheduled this summer. And there's some things in the works, hopefully maybe producing some things or well, we'll see. Everything's pie in the sky till it actually happens. So
I'm a big fan of This Is Us, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too. Love it.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a doozy this season. Woo.
Oh, God. I'm nervous.
You should be. I'm not kidding.
God.
Oh, no.
I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not exaggerating this time.
Every episode makes me cry. Stop.
Yeah.
Just wait.
I do want to add, by the way, I think I saw it at like an advanced screening. So I've been following the show for a really long time. Like it was a promotional screening in New York. So, and your story was like the one I related to the most. And it really like broke me and I was hysterical crying in a public theater. So
you're not alone. You're not alone. I've done it too. So I'm glad that, people are finding some relatability through stories for the stories that we get to make. And I'm just so grateful to have been a part of this incredible film that I think is going to impact so many people in a very real way. So very grateful.
Jamie, do you have any projects that you were working on after this or?
Yeah, I'm directing a pilot in a couple weeks for something that I also, it's like Chrissy, it's like I don't want to like get my own hopes up on anything. It's like, but right now that's happening. And then I wrote a screenplay that I'll probably start pushing that I'm really excited about. And I have a couple others in the works that are really good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited. I've been like living with this for like, 48 years now. So I'm like excited to like move on to new projects and start, thinking of new characters and all the, it's inspiring to get to think about those kinds of things. So, and work on them. So I'm excited about that. I wish you guys could all be here in Berlin. I'm
pissed. I want to be there so bad.
Don't want to hop on a plane. Like we still have like 2 hours left until the premiere. You guys should just come. Hop on a plane. Nobody's traveling right now. So you totally just hop on. You usually get a whole row to yourself. You can sleep. Nice.
Is it really like that?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like there was like nobody on the plane.
Right.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I hope this gets picked up and a lot more people get to see it because it really is a really wonderful story. And I don't know, I'm very excited for your premiere and I can't wait to see what other people think about it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm really, really proud of the work everybody did on it. It really took them. Not even a village, like a small town, or like a Charlottesville city, like where I'm from, to get this project done. So I'm really proud of everyone and what they did to make this happen. I just don't feel like a lot of people who work or care for addicts feel seen, and I do hope that that's what this film, to that community especially, maybe they can feel a little more seen. That would make me really, really happy.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out to talk with us today about the movie.
Thank you all. Yeah, thanks for watching it so many times.
It was a lot of fun chatting with you guys, and I hope we get to talk to you guys in a future project one day, and we look forward to everything you guys are working on.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later, but have fun at the premiere. All right, guys. Have a great day. Have a great time, Jamie, Wyatt.
Good luck, guys. Good luck with the premiere.
See you guys.
Bye.